Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for the second virtual town hall presentation. There will be a brief presentation about the budget for the 2024-2025 school year. Then, questions that were submitted by Tuesday at 4 p.m. will be answered. The recording from our first session can be found on the district website, newburghschools.org, or the Newburgh Schools YouTube page. As a reminder, there is a public hearing for the that happened already on May 14th, and that recording can be found on our district website as well. As a reminder, the vote for the 2024-2025 school year budget will be on Tuesday, May 21st. Polls are open from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. More information can be found on our district website, newburghschools.org. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Kimberly Roaring to begin our presentation.
Next slide, please. So as we prepared the fiscal 25 budget proposal, we kept the superintendent's budget priorities in mind, which included literacy for all scholars and supports for our English language learners and exceptional learners. Next slide, please. We continued moving with equity in our budget. So our building allocations are based on an amount per student, looking at building enrollment. We've been reviewing resources available for our ELL students and our in-district programs for special education. We are using data-driven staffing, specifically in areas of additional support. And we have established staffing ratios for faculty, support staff, and administration. Next slide, please. The 2025 budget does include a proposed tax levy increase of $4.2 million or 3.8%. That is estimated to be approximately $14 per month for a home assessed at $300,000 and approximately $23 a month for a home assessed at $500,000. Next, please. Our biggest expense drivers in the budget is our human capital, and it includes compensation for our faculty, staff, and administrators, as well as substitute expense. This is for all positions in the district with the exception of our food service staff. Our employee benefits are the second leading cost in our budget, followed by student transportation and out-of-district tuition. Next slide, please. Our revenue adjustments for fiscal 25 include an increase in foundation aid of $3.49 million, categorical aid increases of approximately $8.5 million, proposed use of one-time funds of $11.37 million, and an increase of interest earnings of just over $2 million, and an increase in our Medicaid reimbursement. Next slide, please. Our revenue categories are local revenue, which includes tax levy plus our payments in lieu of taxes, utility taxes, various use fees, interest earnings, and other miscellaneous categories. Our state revenue includes all of the state aid, including foundation aid, as well as categorical aid. Federal revenue is primarily in the form of Medicaid reimbursement, and we have appropriated one-time funds, including appropriated fund balance and use of restricted reserves. Next slide, please. Here we show our planned use of restricted reserves and fund balance. If we look in the yellow highlighted column, that shows our planned use for fiscal 25, and it totals $11.37 million. Next slide, please. Our proposed revenue for fiscal 25 is $360.4 million. As you can see in this pie chart, the largest section is orange, which represents our state aid of $225.38 million, followed by our local revenue sources of $123.23 million. Again, that includes more than our tax levy. Next slide, please. And this table correlates to that pie chart. So all those lines highlighted in blue equal our local revenue sources. Those in orange tie to our state aid. Those in gray are our federal revenue, and followed by those in yellow at the bottom, which is the use of our one-time funds, for a total of $360.4 million. We made several adjustments during the budget development process, and some of the non-personnel adjustments include reductions in software licenses, BOCES services, the local share for our E-rate program, as well as supplies, travel and conference, and contract services. Next slide, please. We also made staffing adjustments in each of our bargaining units. The table summary here shows a reduction of 97.5 FTEs across the various bargaining units. We also made a reduction at the executive cabinet level, and that will go down by 1 FTE for fiscal 25 as well. Next slide, please. our proposed budget. So when we look at our expense categories, our largest expense category is in blue, and that is our compensation for all of our staff. The second largest category is in orange at $112.7 million, and that is our employee benefits, followed by the gray and the lighter blue, which are equal to our transportation and out-of-district tuition expenses as our 4 largest cost drivers. Next slide, please. When we break it out into category, you can see here that starts with compensation, followed by employee benefits. Out-of-district tuition is about $28 million. Transportation is around $24 million, and it totals $360.4 million. Next slide, please. The next step in the budget development process is the annual vote, which occurs next Tuesday. Polls are open from noon to 9.
Thank you. Next, we will begin our questions.
So throughout the budget development process, we have provided specific information around the district's finances, use of reserves, state aid, programs we're offering, and expense reductions. The district did provide opportunity for community input by submitting questions in advance of today's town hall presentation. We did receive questions from community members, students, and faculty staff, and those responses are following. Next slide, please. The first question is around uniforms. So in reviewing the budget, there is a line item for uniforms custodial for $30,000. All custodians I have observed in the district wear street clothes consisting mostly of jeans and a plain short sleeve shirt. Where is $30,000 going? In response, the collective bargaining agreement ratified by the membership and approved by the board in January of 2024 requires the district to provide uniforms for all custodial staff in 2025. And that budget line is to support that requirement.
Thank you. Our next questions with regard to human resources and curriculum instruction will be answered by Mrs. Andrea Moriarty, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Ms. Onyx Peterson, Assistant Superintendent, CIO, DPO.
Thank you and good evening. So one of the questions is, why are you creating more central office positions? The response is, we are optimizing our resources by streamlining district office positions to enhance efficiency and focus more on the direct support for our schools and our students. The district reduced administrative positions for the fiscal year 25 from the building and central office.
Question number 2. The superintendent says that there are many cuts to the budget that are mandatory. That is true, but for some, but the board, district negotiated contract with employees. These costs are needed, but also negotiable. What has the district done to decrease the ever rise in employee payroll and benefits? So the district has conducted a comprehensive review of its administration's processes and areas where efficiencies can be gained. Once a union contract has been ratified by the membership and approved by the Board of Education, those expenses then become mandatory. Negotiations are led with our district legal counsel, and settled contracts must be competitive for us as a district to recruit and retain staff. Proposals are benchmarked against local districts that are in the area. We recognize the need to contain the annual growth of benefits expenses, and we're working with our partners to do that. Next slide.
So questions around curriculum and instruction. The first question is, each year taxpayers are told the budget increases to maintain services and programs. What evidence is there that after 20 plus years of budget increases that our scholars, ELA, and math proficiency has increased proportionally? The response is, this is the first proposed taxpayer increase requested in 9 years. The district has seen growth year over year for our scholars. However, this doesn't always equate to the state measured proficiency. Literacy is the foundation in all of our content areas and is the priority for the fiscal year 25 in the budget cycle.
The district does not have an obligation to provide each scholar with the means to achieve 21 credits needed to graduate. How much is the district spending to provide elective courses well beyond that 21 credit required? Is the district legally obligated to provide these extra courses? Is each elective well attended with 20+ students enrolled all year? So graduation requirements are set by New York State. Each student must be provided pathways to obtain the 22 credits across various content levels, areas, excuse me. Electives are a part of the development of pathways for graduation. Next question.
Next question. It appears that many students taking AP courses are either not completing the course or failing to score a minimum of 3. How does the administration and board justify the cost to taxpayers when other more relevant programs and services are needed to assist more students to achieve minimum proficiency? The issue you're raising is certainly complex and warrants careful consideration. Our goal is to provide access to all of our academic Our goal is to provide access to all of our academic offerings and supports. We want to ensure that all students have the ability to be successful, be it a Regents class, a CTE class, or an AP course offering. We are continuing to realign resources to best support all of our scholars.
I submitted this question last week, but it was not answered on Monday's town hall, so I will ask it again in a little bit more detail. The law passed by the state legislature in 2022 for NYC requires that kindergarten to 3rd grade classrooms have 20 or fewer students. 4th through 8th grade classes have no more than 23, and high school classes have 25 or fewer. As a district with a similar demographic, we have many 1st grade classrooms that are 26 and 27 1st grade students in them, but the budget's removing teaching assistants from all 1st grade classroom. Removing this additional staff member will limit the amount of small group instruction possible. Will we see a decrease in class sizes to reflect this change? Will Newburgh be following suit with New York City to reduce class sizes moving forward, especially if literacy is the primary grade's main focus for this budget? That law that was passed was specifically for New York City schools. Class sizes within Newburgh will continue to remain in compliance with the negotiated agreement that we have with the Newburgh Teachers Association.
How does the cuts in budget affect classroom size in main campus, since I saw that 6 teachers are getting let go? Wondering which schools the teachers are coming from and how will this be dealt with so that it doesn't impact student learning? Class sizes will be consistent with limits established in the teacher's contract. The district is utilizing Academic Planner and other tools to support a more efficient master scheduling process.
Why are we spending on Yonder pouches? So the cost of Yonder pouches is not a general fund expense. We have utilized grant funding to support this initiative for the district.
Thank you. As a reminder, all recordings and information about the budget can be found on our website, newburghschools.org/budget. The vote for the 2024-2025 school year budget will be held on Tuesday, May 21st. Polls are open from 12 p.m. noon to 9 p.m. Thank you.